The Knicks made a big trade recently, sending out Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a protected first-round pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns. This trade was a bit shocking, but with Julius Randle on an expiring contract, and with Julius in the Knicks front office unable to come to a contract extension, it makes sense why they decided to trade him. At face value, this trade looks like a lateral move. Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle appear to be similar caliber players. Was this move just about getting something back for Julius Randle before his contract expired at the end of the year, or does this trade push the Knicks forward? In many ways, I think Cat can make New York a better team. We can't forget that the Knicks needed help at center. The Knicks lost their starting center Isaiah Hartenstein to the OKC Thunder this offseason, and they're also going to be without Mitchell Robinson until December at the earliest. And not only does he help to address a pressing need the Knicks had at the 5, but I think his play style will make him a much better fit for the Knicks than Julius. In this video, I'll explain why, but first, we have to talk about BetUS. Guys, if you love basketball and you're a knowledgeable fan, then you have to join BetUS. With the start of the season right around the corner, you can make bets on what you think will happen, and if you're correct, you can cash out. Like I said earlier, I think Cat makes the Knicks a better team, so I'm going to bet on them winning the Atlantic Division this season. If you sign up, use the code YouTube150 and you'll receive a 150% sign-up bonus of up to $2,000. Now back to Karl Anthony Towns. In many ways, Cat can bring the Knicks offense to the next level. With Cat on the team, the Knicks now have something they've never had, which is a legit stretch 5. Cat raised some eyebrows a few years back when he called himself the best shooting big man ever. But it is true that Cat is one of the greatest shooting bigs there's ever been. He shoots 40% from deep for his career, which is the highest career 3-point percentage by a center in the history of the league. Having a center that can shoot threes at a high percentage can be huge for a team's offense. If we look at the top 3 offenses in the NBA last year, the Celtics, the Pacers, and the Thunder, they all play with a center that shoots threes at a high clip. And guys, this isn't a coincidence. Playing with a stretch 5 forces rim protectors away from the basket, creating incredible spacing which allows the team to drive to the hoop a lot easier. The incredible spacing brought by the Celtics stretch 5s was a big reason they won the championship. Having 2 centers that shot threes well in Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis took shot blockers out of the paint and made it easier for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to get to the basket and wreak havoc on the other team. Going into this upcoming season, we know Cat, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby will start, and the Knicks will have the option to play a guard like Deuce McBride or Josh Hart as that 5th starter. This would allow the Knicks to play 5 out on offense, with everyone in the starting lineup capable of draining the open 3. Playing with this type of spacing would make the game so much easier for Jalen Brunson, who's already coming off an MVP caliber season. With opposing shot blockers away from the basket to defend Cat on the perimeter, this is only going to make it easier for him to drive and finish at the rim. And when the defense does decide to collapse, Brunson can kick the ball out to a high percentage shooter. This will constantly put defenses in a position where they will have no choice but to pick their poison. And not only is Cat a stretch big, he's also an elite scorer. He has a great face-up game where at his height, he can often raise over defenders easily. And that shooting ability helps Cat to drive to the basket where he loves to use pump fakes to get his defender in the air, allowing him to get right by them. He's also got a very good handle for a 7-footer, and he's got a quick first step, allowing him to drive by defenders easily. And he's very athletic, allowing him to pull off some monster throwdowns when driving to the rim.
But that is a clear benefit.
But every finish doesn't have to be a dunk. Cat is also great at scoring with floaters and bank shots when he can't get all the way to the basket. And his impressive strength gives him great body control, helping him to absorb contact, maintain his balance, and still get the finish. Playing in a spaced out offense with shooters all around him will make Cat even deadlier when getting downhill. And Cat is also a very willing passer. I could see him racking up assists this season, fighting New York's shooters after forcing the defense to collapse on his drives. Overall, Cat should be a great number 2 option next to Jalen Brunson next season. With the shooting, scoring, and playmaking that Cat will bring, expect the Knicks offense to move within the top 5. But how will the Knicks fare on defense after this trade? I think Cat's defense is a lot better than many of you guys may think. Yes, early in his career, Karl Anthony Towns was a pretty bad defender, but he's really improved on that end of the court. Now Cat is a pretty good rim protector. He doesn't rack up a ton of blocks, but he's elite at meeting driving players at the rim and forcing them to miss. He's also a stellar post defender. Thanks to Cat's lower body strength, he's able to stand his ground and prevent his man from getting close to the paint. Even Nikola Jokic struggles when trying to score on post-ups against Cat. And Cat is also a great rebounder. His rebound numbers have gone down the past few seasons, but that's because he was playing alongside Rudy Gobert. Before Cat had to move to the power forward position, he was consistently a double-double machine. So despite his poor defensive reputation, he's turned into a pretty good defender, and he was a top contributor on a Timberwolves team that ranked #1 in defense last season. So expect the Knicks to continue to thrive on defense. Between OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Deuce McBride, and Josh Hart, the Knicks have 4 incredible on-ball defenders that'll keep opponents from getting into the paint and getting easy shots. And if opponents do manage to get in the paint, Cat will be waiting to challenge them at the rim. So expect the Knicks to also rank within the top 5 in defense next season. And in my opinion, when a team ranks within the top 5 in both offense and defense, that makes you a title contender. Another plus from the Knicks acquiring Cat will be their ability to thrive when playing big and small. Because Cat is interchangeable at the center and power forward positions, the Knicks can play 2 different styles. They could start Mitchell Robinson at center and move Cat to the 4 and play with a big lineup. The Knicks would lose some spacing with a traditional lineup, but there would be some benefits. Starting 2 7-footers would allow the Knicks to crush other teams on the glass. Mitch and Cat are both excellent rebounders, especially on the offensive glass. So this would allow the Knicks to get a ton of putbacks and extra possessions. A big lineup like this would also level up the Knicks' paint defense, as they would now have 2 legit rim protectors on the floor. Having the option to go big makes the Knicks adaptable, which is extremely important come playoff time. Let's say the Knicks play against a team that also plays with 2 big men in their front court, like the Cavaliers, then the Knicks may also want to go with their big lineup to match up. But then let's say the Knicks play a small team like the Celtics, they may opt to go with their small lineup with Cat playing at the 5, so they can have more shooting and scoring on the floor. Winning playoff series is all about strategy, and the fact that the Knicks can flourish whether they put out a big or a small lineup makes them much more equipped to make needed adjustments. There's a lot to love about this trade, but one concern Knicks fans should have is Cat's production in the postseason. Throughout his career, Cat has tended to underperform in the playoffs, and as good as Jalen Brunson has proven to be, he can't do it alone. Cat has to be a good number 2 option. I do want to give credit where credit is due though. In last year's playoffs with the Timberwolves, he had plenty of big time performances. Ant is clearly the Wolves' top dog, but the Wolves don't make that run to the conference finals without Cat. The problem with Cat is that he tends to be inconsistent, and I think a big part of that is his unwillingness to embrace physical basketball. Instead of using his size to dominate down low, Cat will settle for jump shots, even when Cat has a big size advantage over the defender. He's a great shooter, but I don't want to see him settling for bad shots. I want to see Cat forcing his will on a defender in the post. He's one of the top post-up bigs where he could score with hook shots and fadeaways once he gets good inside positioning. If Cat was to embrace post-ups more in the playoffs, I think this would make him more consistent. Fortunately for the Knicks, they also traded for Mikal Bridges this offseason, and he could pick up the slack if Cat starts underachieving. For most of his career, Mikal has been a 3-and-D player, but when he got traded to the Nets, he became their top option on offense and thrived in that role. He averaged 21 points per game in his 2 seasons with the Nets. He's got a deadly mid-range game, where that high release point helps him shoot over the top of defenders easily. With Mikal on the team, the Knicks should be able to survive games in the playoffs where Cat underperforms. Let's say in a key playoff game, Cat is having a poor shooting night, then he could just focus on defense and rebounding and let Mikal carry the offense. So even though Cat is a flawed player, the Knicks have the personnel to offset his weaknesses. Overall, I think Karl Anthony Towns will prove to be an amazing pickup for the Knicks. By swapping out Julius for Cat, the shooting and spacing on the floor should be so much better for them next season, and they're now a lot more flexible how they can play their lineups. Now, the Celtics are going to still be considered the top team in the East, but I think after acquiring Cat, the Knicks match up with them a lot better. And if the Knicks meet the Celtics in the playoffs, the Celtics are probably still going to be the favorite, but if the Knicks can be healthy, I think they got a damn good shot at pulling off the upset. But now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the Knicks acquiring Karl Anthony Towns? Does he make them much closer to winning the championship? Let me see your thoughts down below in the comment section. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to catch you all next video.